Hey guys, this is Ned with TGN and welcome to this Star Wars The Old Republic video. Now, first of all, the reason I haven't put out anything about the expo yet is because I was severely ill. I had the flu, I got it really bad from the expo, and my friend also got it, so I think there must have been something going around. But anyway, that's all in the past. So I'm here to talk to you today about one thing and one thing only, and that thing is the Eurogamer Expo. So, for those of you who know, I went to Eurogamer with a cameraman friend of mine, and it was quite a historic day for fans of the Old Republic because not only did they announce the release date, but they also gave us all beta keys. I'm currently playing the beta now, and I can't really talk too much about that because of the NDA, but I can tell you it was awesome. And it still is awesome, and honestly, December the 22nd can't come sooner. And that's all I'm going to say about my beta experiences so far. Now, the first thing you should know about Eurogamer is I didn't bring back any raw footage. There was a reason for that. For whatever reason, they didn't want us filming the screens. I suspect this is because since they were going to announce it, they kind of didn't want anything to get into the way that might sort of take attention away from the announcement. I mean, I doubt it would have, but hey, I know Total Biscuit managed to get some footage, but that's because they were filming the big screen. He had a power camera, and they said something like, we're allowed to film the screen providing it's from like 5 meters away, which was really weird and really stupid. I don't know why they did that, but never mind. It meant us with our camera couldn't get in, but I got to play the Old Republic numerous times at the expo, and I'm going to talk to you about my experiences there. Okay, so they had the booth set up, and what did I play? I got to play Imperial Agent PvP, sort of level 14. I also got to experience the starting zones, briefly for Imperial Agent, and then a bit more for the Sith Warrior. So I'm just going to go recap you through the first day. Okay, so we arrived at the expo, run over to the SWTOR booth, and because we got in early, because we were with TGN as press, there was like no one there. But there were still quite a few people. And we were waiting in line. There'd been a few people before us, and it's like there were groups of 8. The laptops were set up so one side was Republic, one side was Empire, and they said to us, okay guys, we're going to change things around a bit. Instead of doing the starting experiences, you're going to be the first to experience PvP. And naturally, we were extremely excited about this. I was really, really happy. And they said everyone who wanted to go to the Empire, go on the left, the Republic, the right. Naturally, we went left because the Empire owns and all the Republic scum must die. So, anyway, so we got into the computers, and it was like all of us playing the Imperials on one side and the Republic on the other. And each different laptop, they had like Alienware laptops set up to play it. It was pretty good. Each different one had a different class, and we had to choose. And so I looked around, and there was nothing that really took my fancy. And then I spotted the Imperial Agent Operative. Now, I've been wanting to... That's the class that I'm really interested in. I know I originally said I wanted to play Bounty Hunter, but after looking at it a bit more, I'm kind of thinking about Imperial Agent. So I thought, okay, I'd give this a shot. And it was a operative concealment agent, so I thought, great, I'm going to be running around, stealth, knifing people, doing off a few shots. So we all sat around and got ready to PvP. And then they said, who's playing the Imperial Agent Operative? I put my hand up, they said, you're healer. So I was like, oh, crap. So my first experiences in the Old Republic were as a healer. Now, we were doing the Battle of Alderaan, which is, it's kind of like a Raffi base in a while, just a bit different. There are 3 turrets, and if you have control of them, they will shoot at the enemy ship, and the first enemy ship, or the first ship to go down, I should say, well, the last ship remaining is the winner. So basically, the more turrets you have, the more damage you can do to the ship. And I was playing alongside a few people, and now I'll talk a bit about what we did first, and I'll talk about the Imperial Agent Operative second. So, when the Warzone began, we had specific instructions from the BioWare guys themselves saying, okay, split up your group. One go to one side, take a healer or whatever with you, a few go to the other turret, and try and capture 2. And they said, don't zerg the middle. And you could probably imagine what we did. We decided to zerg the middle. So everyone ended up running towards the middle, which was our first mistake because the Republic took the turrets on the either side. And then everyone decided to run off and leave me to guard the middle point. And I was the healer, and I was the only one guarding it. So if they'd have swapped me with a DPS, they'd have been alright, because they went off in a massive group. But because they ran off with no healer, they attacked the turret and then failed. So I ended up spending most of my time guarding the middle turret, while everyone else was running off killing stuff. And eventually we lost the game. It was actually kind of close, we nearly won. But, so those were my first experiences in the Old Republic. Now, I'd like to talk to you a lot about the Imperial Agent Operative that I played. So the Operative was about level 14, and from what I could see, it had about... You have two bars, I'm sure you've seen them before. Like, you have the basic one at the bottom, and then you can add another one, and those were pretty much full. I'd like to talk about the mechanics and the abilities I had. Okay, so first of all, because the Operative was a healer, we'll look at the healing side of it. I had 3 heals at level 14 Operative, which is pretty impressive. I had a lot of skills. The heals I had were... a heal over time, which was really powerful, a heal that took ages and had a long cooldown but would heal something from like dead to full up, and then I had a standard heal over time. So the Imperial Agent was kind of a heal over time healer. It's not the kind of healer that has many oh shit buttons. It's the sort of healer that you want to you want to make sure you have heal over times on as much as possible. And that was from the healing perspective. From the damage perspective and the other utilities, as an operative, I had loads. I think I probably chose the most complicated class there because every other seemed similar. And also the mechanics. I had stealth, healing, and cover. And those 3 are all big because I had abilities that work with my stealth, like backstabs. I had in-cover abilities such as snipe. And then I had my healing abilities, which would work in conjunction with, say, stealth, so I could sort of hide when the enemy comes and attacks. I pop out and heal, and it was really hard to master. Now, the abilities I had were, I had a basic attack called Rifle Shot, which is just your bog standard. I had a damage over time called Toxic Dart, which I believe has been renamed Corrosive Dart. I had... what did I have? I had a couple of backstab and slash abilities with the knife, and I could also throw knives at my opponents. And I could even call in a couple of probes to sort of help me out in fight and stuff. Now, the thing I want to say about the Operative, it was really, really good, surprisingly. I was a healer, and I managed to put out quite a bit of damage. Like, I could really hold my own, as well as healing. Like, I had about 5... and the survivability was incredible. I had about 5 guys on me, and it took them, like... 20 seconds to kill me, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, it is a lot. 5 guys all focusing me down. They're like all troopers and stuff, and I'm a healer, and I was even doing damage to them. So, what else did I get? And what I thought was kind of ironic was I was actually chasing Jedi and throwing knives at them. So, I had like the Jedi Guardian running away from me. He, like, tried to take the point and then failed. And, like, I thought it was a bit surreal because I was expecting it to be the other way round. I wouldn't expect something with a lightsaber to run away when I'm throwing knives at them. But, never mind about that. So, yeah, that was the Imperial Agent in detail. As an operative, you could do pretty decent damage, and you had a hell of a lot of abilities for a healer. Like, seriously, you'd have no problem leveling as a healer in this game. It was incredible. I mean, I know I was only level 14, but... It was good. It's not like WoW, where, you have, like, a couple of spells you can use as a healer to do damage. It was like, you had proper spells. And the other thing I noticed was the resource I used, which was called Energy, I believe. Similar to Rogue's Energy. It never ran out. I don't know, no matter how many spells I use, I don't know if they kind of gave everyone unlimited resources for the demo, because my friend said that he was playing a Sith Marauder. He never... they have, like, Rage, which is, the typical Rage you build up. He said he never, like, ever didn't have enough Rage, so I don't know. But I never ran out of my resource. And, yeah, so I could do decent damage, decent healing. So, my thoughts on the Operative, in a nutshell, it's probably a really complicated class to play. I know that a lot of people aren't interested, but it was super fun. It had a lot of survivability, a lot of useful talents, and it's kind of... I don't know, it looks like one of the more complicated classes to play. It's kind of like a Warlock or something in WoW before Warlocks were simplified. It's like, it's difficult to master, but if you can, it really pays off. And you can, do what you want, especially with stealth and cover. That just adds a whole new dynamic level to healing, which was really cool. And I'd like to talk about PvP in general. It was actually quite balanced. It takes a while to kill people, but the fights feel like proper fights. It doesn't feel like whoever has the best gear is going to win. It feels like you're going into every single fight even, and it's all a matter of skill. I mean, you can only take that so far, of course, because it is an MMO, but it's not as gear-orientated as games such as, say, World of Warcraft, where if you don't have resilience gear, you're going to get butt-raped. And my impressions of the Battle of Alderaan were... It was really good, actually. Like, it felt really dynamic and exciting. One of the big advantages was having less people on your team. Like, World of Warcraft has, like, I think it's 15 for every basin. This had about 8. And it meant that every player counted a bit more. And you couldn't really get zerged where you get, like, 100 people on you at once. It felt a lot more balanced out. And that was really neat. And it wasn't like everyone was like, oh god, target the healer. I mean, bear in mind, like, none of us had played it before. So we had, like, seconds to learn our class. But those were my impressions. And, yeah, I'm really looking forward to release. I think I might be playing an Imperial Operative again. So those are my thoughts. I think I'm probably going to wrap this... Oh, no! No, I'm not going to wrap this up. I forgot to talk completely about the Sith Warrior and Imperial Agent starting experience. Okay, for those of you who don't like spoilers, I'm going to be talking about the story for both of them. So, you know, please turn the video off or cover your ears or whatever. Well, actually, there's not much point in covering your ears and then watching, just turn it off. So, the Sith Warrior story is basically like, you've been trained forever to be, like, since you were born, you know, you're going to be leading the armies. You're kind of treated like the upper class royalty of the Sith. And you kind of, you are called down from wherever you were in space to begin your training early so that you have an advantage. And you are told right from the start that you have an enemy, and there's no reason for it. It's just your instructor, your master goes, this guy is your enemy. You will hate him, and eventually you will kill him. And I only got to level 5 or so, but from what I progressed, it was pretty good. The story, it's not my kind of thing. One thing I did notice was that the story was really tailored to the class in more ways than one. Like, if you go for a Sith Warrior, it's all going to be about rage and ambition. It's going to be about destroying your opponents, whereas if you play a Sith Inquisitor, it's going to be about the mysteries of the Force, the powers, the relics, and stuff like that. So that is very important to bear in mind when choosing your class. The story reflects the class directly. And yeah, anyway, so that was my story. I got up to the point where you go into like this tomb and get a special lightsaber because your training sword won't do for someone of your caliber. And then you bring it back, and I was set off on my next task. I can't remember to do what. And that was basically it. And yeah, the Sith Warrior it's not my kind of class, but I can see how people like who enjoy the Warrior playstyle would like it. It's really much an upfront, brutal damage dealer. You can take on loads of stuff and win, and it's sort of you know, bite first, ask questions later playstyle. You charge into stuff. You don't really sit back and think, okay, here's where I'm going to put my CC, blah, blah. You get in the action. And I know a lot of people enjoy that. It brings a kind of action style to the MMO. So, one thing I want to talk about before I go on to the Imperial Agent starting experience was the environments. They were absolutely gorgeous. Like, gobsmacking gorgeous. It's just incredible. I think because a lot of us have played MMOs like WoW for so long, we're not used to the idea that how much the technology has changed, you know, how much you can put into an MMO. We're all used to kind of, you know, maybe seeing one or two things in the sky, not a great deal of detail in the background, and occasionally like something like a catapult. But in the Old Republic, there were ships constantly flying overhead, Star Destroyers in the background, turrets everywhere, things going off. It was incredible. It, like, on Korriban, it felt like this ancient Sith place, and after playing it, you can see why the game has taken so long to get to this point. It must have taken them ages just to render the environments, because each one is extremely expansive, and it's just beautiful. And I mean, Alderaan, you know, I could look up and see the turrets shooting at things. I could see, you know, fighters flying past. It was incredible. It was so good, and, like, you just have to really get in and play. It's hard to kind of get that experience, but yeah, so that kind of thing. And okay, next we go on to the Imperial Agent. Remember, spoilers. Okay, so the Imperial Agent story is you enter in a kind of sneaky way, and you sort of go into the shadows, and then you're contacted by this guy called the Keeper, who is the head of Imperial Intelligence. He is your boss. And what the Keeper says is, you're on Hutter. You want to get the loyalty, the allegiance of Nemro the Hutt for the Empire. Do it by any means necessary. Okay, so you've been asked to get Nemro the Hutt's allegiance for the Empire. And do it by any means necessary, sabotage some stuff. And then basically all I did was went outside and killed some stuff. It wasn't very... I didn't spend a lot of time with the Imperial Agent, but the story, from what I could tell of it, really drew me in. And from what I've experienced so far, I really don't want to play as a Force-using character for two main reasons. Number one, I don't think the story is nearly half as good as some of the other stuff I've seen. And number two, it's going to be full of them. There's going to be, the majority of players will be Force users. Actually, it's going to be quite a lot compared to the non-Force users. I can guarantee that. So maybe if you want to play a class that's sort of... I don't know, not as well played. You don't want to think of something like Inquisitor. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't play classes like the Inquisitor, the Jedi Knight, stuff like that, but don't expect to be amazingly unique. There's a lot of them. Then again, in an MMO, you can't really be unique because everyone else is like you. But that's not the point. Okay, so those were my experiences at the Eurogamer. I didn't get to play as much as I like. Oh, we also got an interview from Stephen Reed, which I told you about a little while ago, I believe. I'm currently in the process of subtitling that because the background noise was horrendous. So that should be with you guys by the weekend. And yeah, so okay, I think I've gone over everything. Imperial Agents, blah, 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 stuff like that. Yep. I think that's the end of it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's just been a quick recap. There's going to be more coming. I'm also going to do a write-up of all my experiences as an Imperial Agent. Try and get a few more of the facts down on pen and paper. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Oh, one more thing before I go. Don't forget, if you're watching this on the SWTOR channel, I am the only one that posts to it. If you want more content, go to the SWTOR show. There will be a link in the description below. Anyway, this has been Ned with TGN. I hope you've enjoyed. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.